2. Here we go. Welcome back to Beef and Clown. Tonight it's just going to be Clown. I haven't heard from Beef, so I'm pretty sure that he's sleeping off some work that he's been doing. He's been working really hard on stuff, so every now and then you gotta have a rest in life. As for me though, I've just been doing school, so we'll go ahead and start with our quote of the day here. Our quote of the day is from George Lucas. You simply have to put one foot in front of the other and keep going. Put blinders on and plow right ahead. This is something that I struggle with a lot of the time. I'm sure a lot of people struggle with motivation, and that's why I picked this one, is because it can be a real struggle to know you've got to do something and put that effort in every day, like for your artwork, whatever it is that you happen to make. You just gotta take the time to get it done, get going, pick up where you left off. It's okay to come back to projects, start new ones. You gotta keep making things. Today we're gonna be listening to Stream Beats by Chill Hop via Spotify. Trying this as an alternative for hopefully royalty-free music, so that I don't get strikes on our YouTube channel, so that Twitch doesn't come after me. That is at least the hope. And I think I'm probably just going to be drawing some chibi characters today, just some stuff that I like to draw. To really just kind of play around with my art and have fun tonight. Because I haven't been doing too much art today. I had a commission last week, and that turned out pretty well. And I haven't really done a lot since then. I think I've been working on like a private piece of art for one of my tabletop RPGs, but I don't really have a specific Chibis in mind, like characters. So these are going to be some OCs, and because I like clowns, they're probably going to be little chibi clowns, because that is how I do. That's just what you're going to get when Clown is the one drawing for you today. We're going to get something approximating a circle here one of these days. Yeah, let's go with that. Because this isn't going to be the bottom of his head anyway. So his ear is going to be like right here, I think. I am in a Discord voice channel. I have invited some friends to come join me, but I don't know if anybody will. So maybe, hopefully, somebody will show up in the stream at some other later point, and we'll be able to talk a little bit more, get a little bit more perspective, I think, on that inspiration. I don't like that line. We're going to be working with this one for a while. This is just my red lines. Oh, you know what? None of this is any good, because this is all on my background layer. Fucking pro. Pardon my French. Generally speaking, it's a good idea to not work on your background layer because it's called destructive editing process. You want to do... Oh, that's pretty good. You want to do as much non-destructive work as you can. Non-destructive means you are not... You're not destroying something that you want to change later. So like in these early line layers, you don't have to worry too much about that. Because you're really just trying to get that shape right. I think part of the problem here is that what I'm going for in terms of shape is a little bit more dramatic than a perfect circle. But this circle was kind of so good, I don't want to get rid of it, if that makes sense. Let's put this ear back over here. Get kind of a... I think this is working. I'm getting a little bit of visual lag and I'm wondering what's going on with that. Wondering if that's my stream or if my Wacom tablet drivers are out of date. I like clowns to have big, expressive eyes. Something that's really friendly. So creepy clowns are a thing, and definitely there are people who are like afraid of creepy clowns, but that's not really my aesthetic. I like clowns because they bring happiness to the world, or they try to. There's commentary there for satire, and that can be a lot of fun, especially when you're talking about doing things like speaking truth to power. But that's not all clowns are for. Sometimes there's a simple joy in just a clown being goofy, with slapstick humor or just silly, goofy dad jokes. That's my clown style, is dad jokes. Like, I don't have a car anymore, but when I did, I had this real problem with speed bumps. And the thing is, when I lost my last vehicle, I was slowly getting over it. I don't know if that comes off like it should, but... There's going to be a lot of art teachers who tell you not to draw in the anime style, and that's not the worst advice you can get until you learn sort of where anatomy is supposed to live on a figure. But one of the things that makes Chibis so interesting and why they're so easy to draw, at least for me, one of the reasons why I tend to default to these as opposed to like regular full characters, is because you can do them fairly quickly and their proportions are highly exaggerated. You've got these simple little bodies that I find absolutely adorable. You don't have to worry about overly complex joints or hands. Things just sort of work. And that's what you want. You just want it to work. This guy's leg, not working. It's too short. This doesn't look foreshortened at all. He just looks like a weird guy with a weird leg. So we're gonna redo this leg, but better. That's okay. You gotta do that sometimes. Now, when you're learning art and like an art teacher is telling you not to draw anime so that you can learn anatomy and like proper anatomical drawing, like first of all, that proper anatomical drawing is going to help you draw those anime characters better, because you'll see where like manga and anime artists have been exaggerating their characters in order to give them those character design features that make them so distinct. And copying traits from other artists is a really good way to learn some of those artist shorthands that when you look at them you say this is what a smile looks like, even though that's not what a smile looks like. Not really. There's a lot more muscle movement, and there's all the teeth, there's all the definition. So we look at this and we recognize that it's the symbol for a smile, and that's what we want, but it doesn't have to be realistic for us to recognize what it is supposed to be. This guy's nice and mischievous. He's still got a little bit of a gorilla thing going on, huh? That's not my lasso tool. Let's start with the foot. See if I can get that to look how I want it to. I'm not liking that at all. I want this actually to be more towards me. Like this. Like he's sitting on his butt, right? Oh, foreshortening is hard. He'll just have no legs. He'll be a clown with no legs. No, we're not gonna do a legless clown. I'm not gonna back to that part. Because otherwise, this whole drawing is just gonna be red lines. That's no good. Alright, so there's sort of a baseline for where we want, like how long we want his leg to be, right? So that means the body sort of comes like that, which means waist is right there. this leg. Oh my goodness, he's just, no. Bit too big. Like that. And this leg's a bit fat compared to the other leg, but we can fix that. There we go. It's a bit more like that. Good. I gotta trust the process. It's gonna be fine.
Are you interested in energy healing, chiropractic care,
Got some
cryotherapy,
ads.
general health and wellness? Join us.
I don't pay for Spotify, so they're gonna be ads.
In Rapid City to explore and discover over 75 local businesses who focus on mind, body, and soul. The first 100 people in the door
Let's
will
turn that down, and I'll turn it back up. A little bit quiet without a. You know what? That's what it is. I thought it was that one leg, but it's this leg that's all janky. They're absolutely advertising like a musical event that I do not listen to. Oh boy. Ads are so tedious. This is why I tend to prefer to use like YouTube, because I pay for YouTube. I'm glad you guys aren't hearing this. It's terrible. I think we're back. We're back. That's nice. See? Got some nice chill music. So I like to remove a lot of this extra stuff just because I get really confused by it later when I'm not doing my red lines anymore. Like, I need to know, where do my red lines stop? What kind of clown should you be? You're gonna have to be smaller because I gotta put hair on you. I gotta put hair on that big old head of yours. That looks good. Should do like a clown fro, maybe. So my friend Ulfric recommended to me that I watch this movie Shakes the Clown. And that was an interesting movie. If you've never seen it, I don't know if I can recommend it. It's interesting. It's got some names in there that I didn't expect to see. Wow, this guy's starting to look evil. Okay, let's not. Let's finish the clown wig. I don't want him to be evil looking. You do have to be careful. Those big baby eyes can backfire against you if you're not careful. Round shapes. Round shapes are good. Let's give him a different mouth. We're gonna give him a different mouth and see how we turn out. It's sort of turning into a nice little cherub here for like Valentine's Day, which was this past Monday. Giving these little angel wings. But we're not gonna. Well. Nah. No. Not what I'm going for tonight. That's a lot closer to what I'm going for. Let's see. I need to look up some reference, I think. Gonna find some reference for what I want him to be wearing. Because I'm thinking there's this trope with like clowns, especially older clowns, where it's like man in a dress, and while that's supposed to be funny, I think especially in this case it's just going to turn out to be really cute. So I'm looking for a good reference for that. So they always have this sort of I'm gonna keep this, but it's gonna be that's good. I like that. Give him a seam down the side. I think we definitely need to do something for the nose here. I might have to wait until until there's color in order to make that look quite like I want it to. I don't know if this is gonna end up being a clown at all. This might just end up being a little girl. I'm not upset at that. I'm ready to let this become whatever it becomes. You don't have to be a clown to have rainbow colored hair, but it helps. Let's get dirty feet. It's looking good. Maybe give them a little. So the big patch for Cyberpunk 2077 came out yesterday, and I loaded it up on this computer, which is supposed to be stronger than the computer that I originally played it on back in 2020. And even though this computer meets all of like the system requirements, it just would not start. I don't know what was up with that. So I loaded it up on the computer that I played it on back in 2020. And it ran, but like significantly worse than it did when I played it in 2020. I do not understand. No. I don't know what went wrong with that one. Unfortunately, it still seems like a bust, which is really unfortunate because I did quite enjoy it when it came out in 2020. I didn't actually have as many of the problems that people were reporting, so I kind of treated it as like, you know, I got mine. And I did get mine. I was hoping to explore some of the new options that they added in their new patch and stuff, but looks like it just was not meant to be. The audio was just terrible. There were glitches there that weren't there before. But it was the first time I started with the Nomad life path. And so I got to see an iguana, and that was cool. What is up with these hands? Oh my gosh, these hands are just awful. I'm gonna get rid of them and replace them. Hands are hard. Usually with Chibis, you don't even really want hands. Dirty fingernails. She's gonna have dirty fingernails. That's good. We're gonna put a second character in. That one about like that. That's pretty good, I think. Needs to be moved over more. It's too close to the edge. I don't know why I'm getting this delay. It's really irritating. Oh, you know what? There is a detail missing on our little girls that I want to add in here. Just a little earring.
There's a lot that goes into buying a home. Security
Oh,
First
oh.
Bank can help lighten the load. Whether you're
Y'all
looking
don't
for
need
more
to be
space
here in
or a new
these.
place, we make the process easier.
Whew. Maybe we'll get her like a good best friend. Is she gonna approve or disapprove of playing in the dirt? Hmm. You find a good reference for hair. I already know what kind of outfit I want to put on this one. But I'm not sure about hair. I struggle so much with hair. That is definitely something I need to practice on, so I want to get a good hair for this one. I want to get it planned out in advance, because I think that's going to make a difference as to like what kind of character she is. Alright, some of this I'm not going to be able to complete without, I think, her full body there. But I think I've got an idea of like how I want it to look. They always have a little neck. This one's got a little bit less. Reference that I'm looking at has a little bit less defined of like a body shape, so I'm gonna have to extrapolate here. That's good. She looks a little bit like a Funko Pop right now. Mm-mm.
Tonight, I wish that I had known I'd be sleeping alone, that you can't decide, and it is plain to see.
You know what? Actually, let me.
I can't reconcile this feeling. Whoa, whoa, 'cause I remember when you had certainty. There is empty space where your body won't lay next to mine. Nothing to embrace, but the loneliness of this cold night. Oh,
I'm gonna go ahead and just depart from my reference a tad bit here. If that's okay with all of you. I'm trying to think of how this is going to look. I think it's gonna look like this. Yep, that's it. Perfect. Outstanding. That's what I want. She's got kind of a
but you can't decide if you're still wanting me. And now this in between causes more divine. I can't reconcile this feeling, 'cause I remember when you had certainty. There is empty space where your body won't stay next to mine. Nothing to embrace, but the loneliness of this cold night. Oh, this fear that comes and goes. Time slows
like these nice little schoolgirl shorts. I think just look really adorable. And we'll throw some of these on her.
Oh, this fever comes and goes, and time slows. But the longer I'm
I think
alone,
that gets tucked in sort of behind the ear. Yeah, there we go.
Let your inner light shine with the new tinted moisturizer light revealer from Laura Mercier.
And it's
Made for your
time to
own
mute
skin
some
tone, this
commercials. Let's see. How do flowers look? Have you ever seen a flower? I've never seen a flower. Flowers are mysterious things that don't really exist, do they? Wow, I'm glad I muted this because that's not something that I could put on Twitch. I'm pretty sure I would get a strike or something from that, but that's okay. That's past now. Think. What am I? That was an eraser. I want this one. I guess that doesn't have to be terribly detailed at the moment. All things considered. I think they're ready for inking. Yeah. Let's put some sandals over here. She took them off. They gotta be somewhere, right? I love walking on the beach without shoes on. It is super satisfying. That feeling of fine sand. But I think more often as I grow up, I find that like what happens for me is the beaches end up covered in shells, or worse, they're covered in garbage. That happens like a lot more than I ever want to think about. It's pretty terrible how often beaches end up just having random garbage on them. And I really hate that feeling when you're walking along and everything's feeling groovy and then you step on something just awful. This is not switching my tools like it's supposed to. There is a delay here and I'm not sure what's going on. I think there's something going on with my system because earlier my sound just turned all the way off. Like it wasn't detecting audio devices at all, which is mad sus. Computers don't tend to do that kind of thing on their own. As far as I know. I should have done another layer of redlining to establish what I wanted that to look like instead of just drawing it with black. One of the things that I'm really weak at with this kind of stuff too is like, honestly, I should be flipping to make sure everything looks good, and I think it does. And then rotating as well to make sure things, my lines are smooth, because your arm is meant to move in certain directions and your canvas only like fits in so much of a space, right? So instead of rotating your whole come on brain, instead of rotating your arm into a weird angle, you rotate the canvas, and then when your canvas is in the right angle, you don't have to move your arm in a weird direction. If you make your red lines too dark, that is totally okay. Just go in, turn the opacity down, You should be able to do that on your layer settings, depending on what application you're using to make your beautiful artwork. That Peter Pan collar. I want to get that Peter Pan collar because she's kind of got this pattern at the top of her outfit here. I'm working super zoomed out. You don't have to do that. As I mentioned to Beef in a previous episode, I work super zoomed out because it gives me smoother lines. Or at least the appearance of smoother lines, because when I export this PNG, I'm going to export it at like a reduced size. I'm not going to export this thing at full size. Because like if I zoom into 100%, you can see where my lines are kind of garbo. But as the fidelity is lost, as the image shrinks, it just looks better. You hide the bad stuff. If you're not good at making it big, that's okay. Make it big and then shrink it. I find that to be a very effective strategy. People seem to like my art. See, now I'm working up close. It's hard to... This is another reason why I don't like to work up close, because once I start working up close, it's hard to stop working up close. But I really don't want to. As much as possible, do try and make your lines just one solid line. Like when I'm making these additional lines, you can connect them, but it doesn't look as good later. Solid line work tip: connect your lines. Connect those lines, make them connected. Imagine that they are long lost relatives. You want to keep them from getting lost. Imagine that they're relatives and you want to keep them from getting lost. Don't break that chain. Or if you don't like relatives, some people don't, imagine they're besties. You want to keep that connection intact. It's also totally valid. And she's got a little flower for her friend. Or girlfriend. I'll let you decide in your headcanon whether or not these two Chibis are dating. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. I think it's probably nicer if they are. But they don't have to, because they look pretty childish and we don't need to force dating on children. Children are allowed to just be friends. Not just allowed, but absolutely encouraged. To share in and enjoy that wonderful platonic love. There's definitely some embarrassment here, but you can get that from just telling your friend, hey, I love you, if you're not used to it. And I think that the one playing in the dirt, she's more used to it, you know? But maybe the one with the flower, she's not used to saying that kind of thing to her friends. She's growing. It's a good thing. This is the kind of growth we love to see. You love to see it. You love to see it.
Ooh, what a vibe. Yo,
Love that song.
I love how the four members all sound so different.
There we go. Another ad break. I think I might generate a random palette for this to decide colors. Because I do not have any ideas on this one. I'm kind of just... I'm trying to do this as I go. We started off trying to make a clown and then ended up just making these adorable friends. And that's okay. Sometimes, you know, because clowns can be friends. Maybe we'll give this one rainbow hair after all. Most of the time, people find it easier to go from top to bottom, partly because that's where gravity's going, and partly because we read that way. And for all I know, we tend to read that way because that's also the way gravity's going. I don't know. Interesting hypothesis. Scientists get back to me about that. Do we read top to bottom because gravity goes to what we relatively perceive to be down? Oh my goodness, the music is back, and I forgot to turn it back on. I apologize. Speed is helpful if you're worried about getting good lines. Because, like, if I go slow, you can see where the quality of my line is. But if I go fast, it might be at sort of a crooked angle. There might still be a wave in it. You can see how much smoother it is as a line. So even when you're doing your line work, don't be afraid to make fast motions, because you don't have to get it right on top of your red line. And in fact, sometimes it's better if you don't. Sometimes your red line is janky and you don't realize it until after you've drawn it better with other lines. Sometimes. Photoshop's been kind of janky all day. I'm wondering if it's this latest update. Because earlier when I went to go make the quote of the day screen, it wouldn't even let me open a new file. I don't know, maybe my install is corrupted. That looks terrible. I'm inclined to say this is one of those circumstances where I really should be turning it upside down. But I'm stubborn and I don't like to do that. Which is just a bad habit. And a lot of the time I personally find it easier to draw from bottom to top. I don't know what that is. I'm weird that way. But let's go ahead and we'll flip it upside down and see what we can do here. Look at that. Look at that. Instant success for me. Drawn the exact opposite direction I'm supposed to. What's up with that? I got an effective brain, I guess. It's alright. We stand defective brains on this channel. Good, good. Alright, I think that's enough being upside down for the moment. Just really not used to looking at that kind of thing, so like messes with my brain cells, what few of them are left. I'm just kidding, I have a lot of brain cells, but I'm hoping that my self-deprecation endears me to you, because that is a common endearment strategy, and our channel is just starting off. Is it working? Is it working? Are you endeared? I hope so. Gotta do these hands again. I'm giving her a toe. No, I gotta do that better. Here we go. That's better. That's much better. You know what? Gravity forces things to hang sort of downwards, so we're gonna do that. There we go. Pretty happy with that. Give her zipper on the side so she can get into her dress and out of her dress. Things that people usually like to do when they have clothes with pretty form-fitting designs. Ooh, let's see if I can make this hand not look bad. Yeah, I'm happy with that. All right. Solid. Okay, that just makes her foot look backwards. Okay, I gotta fix this. This pinky toe looks like it's the big toe, and that's not okay. It's gotta look more like a pinky toe. Wait, it doesn't look like she has 6 toes now, does it? I'm gonna say no. How do holes work? How does ground work? How does any of this work? Hello and welcome to the stream. Tonight our theme is perseverance, and I am drawing a couple of chibi characters just out of nowhere. They're not specific references to anyone or anything. I just saw some poses that looked like things that I would like and decided to draw them, or something close to them. Collecting references is a really good practice when you want to make artwork. If you're old school, you can do it with like magazines. If you've got physical zines, if you don't have physical zines, you've got a whole internet, Google image search. I like Pinterest because it's an image aggregator, but Instagram can also be good. You don't necessarily have to look at drawn images, although I find that they're often, for me, they're simple enough to be a lot more useful. There we go. Let's turn off that. I like that. I'm getting a little bit of Minnie Mouse vibes from it. Okay. Let's generate a color palette here. And I'll start coloring. This is good. We're gonna do this one.
Want
I think
better skin
each
from your
girl.
body wash? Try Olay body wash.
Shush, advertisement. I think for this girl we're going to do this color palette. And we'll generate a different palette for the other girl. I think we're gonna do this one. Or the other girl. Or we'll mix and match, whatever's clever. There's no real wrong answers here. Literally just having fun with it. So I think first thing I'm gonna do is create a layer mask that hides everything that I don't want to be colorful. because that's gonna make things look much better for me. So I just have to go to my layer mask and hit hide selection. I like to use layer masks. I sort of started learning how to use these from Substance Painter, which is what I use for my 3D digital artwork for school. And now I don't have to worry too much about coloring outside the lines. We've got, this has a name, but I'm going to call it aubergine because to me it kind of, I guess it's a little light for aubergine, huh? It's kind of more like a plum. I think actually I want to use this color palette for the other girl. So I'm going to do this. We're going to use this color. I think this is a good Sunday dress color for this girl. This is absolutely... Okay, so this pink, especially on this dress, reminds me of like Audrey Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's. Big Audrey Hepburn vibes. And what little girl doesn't want to be a princess? I mean, probably a lot of them. I'm not really big on the whole like real world application of monarchies. Just as like a personal preference. Excuse me. The problem with coloring it this far out is that I'm definitely missing spaces. That's okay. I'll come back in and fill those in later. Mostly I just want to create like a fun, creative render. Something that's gonna look good and original. I don't know if I should have kept this red. I probably should have re-rolled it. Oh well, we're gonna run with it. Oh, does her bucket and pail, are those part of her color palette as well? I feel like they'd have to be, right? They're part of her character. She's got a little bit of Orphan Annie vibes going on now. And I'm just experimenting, and it's important to do that. Experiment with your artwork, make stuff that you like. It's not all about what other people like. If you like your work, you're gonna be much more content. I guess I would say like your work enough that you're not afraid to share it like 100%, but don't like it so much that you never improve. You decide that you've peaked. Because nobody has peaked. Not one person on this whole planet. Banksy hasn't peaked. I don't know what Banksy does with their everyday life, but I promise that they have not peaked. They've got their life's work ahead of them still, and so do you, and so do I. We're all growing, and part of what makes it better is that we have this opportunity, especially with this, with these tools, with this technology, so we can grow together in a way that fosters our creativity, that encourages us to recognize growth as a natural part of life without having to be focused on that final product. We have these times where we can hang out and just make whatever art, and it can look good or bad or sideways. Parts of it can look good, parts of it can look bad.
Caught up in the moment, getting lost inside emotion. Oh, I can feel you next to me, breathe like the waves in the ocean. Caught up in the
I'm gonna see if this one gets copyright strikes like the other one did. Some of these songs are bangers, and I gotta feel like they're probably definitely gonna come at with DMCA strikes. But like every time I Google like copyright or royalty free stuff for streaming, like this is what comes up, and then I get them DMCA strikes anyway. So I don't know what's up with that. But if you have a SoundCloud, or if you've got a friend who's got a SoundCloud, hit me up. Play your music behind the stream, we'll draw to it. We will share your beautiful art as we make beautiful art. We're just starting off here, so I'm looking for other people who are just starting off as well. It's a collab process. I don't make any money from this. I don't expect to make any money from this. Not specifically from the stream anyway. Like eventually I plan to be making money from my artwork. It's a process. Now, once I'm at a point where I'm making money, which I'll never do if I keep getting all these DMCA strikes. But who wants to just sit and like watch somebody draw without background music? I don't know. I think it's better with music. Record labels disagree. don't see why you couldn't have both. That's all I'm saying. And the moment your SoundCloud goes viral, you can come in here with your DMCA claim too, and that's okay. If you're making money off your music, like, you gotta play the industry's game. You have to. I hate saying that, but you really, like, we're not at this point where I can say, hey, just freelance it the whole time. That's not everybody's path. Some people can make that work. That's great. I think that's amazing to be able to buck the system that way. But I'm not that person. But that said, like, there are things that concern me. Like, I want to get into 3D animation. 3D animation is not unionized. That's a problem. So much of the entertainment industry is unionized. Like, it's very notable when a part of it isn't unionized, because the moment you have a non-unionized aspect of film production, that labor is going to get exploited hard, and there's no protections. There's nothing an artist can do except conform. And that's pretty garbo. And that's sort of the way the industry is right now. And like, we hope to see changes. I hope to see changes. I'm sure I'm not alone in that. And I think that'll make the industry stronger in the long run.
Let your inner light shine with the new tinted moisturizer light revealer from Laura.
And we'll see if that ends up being true. I don't know. Because right now, we've got a lot of this situation where you've got 5 big studios that are essentially on the verge of getting to the big studio system the way that it used to be back in the day, where, like, they're talking about repealing the law that says that movie theaters cannot own the means of distribution. And even if they either haven't done that, because I haven't followed up on that in a minute, or if they don't do that, you've got Disney is using their authority, not their authority, their clout, to strong arm movie theaters, not competitors, but movie theaters. Like they did with Last Jedi, where they said, hey, you're going to play this movie for 3 weeks in your biggest theater. And that's a long time to do that in the biggest theater, because in 3 weeks other movies are going to come out, and eventually Last Jedi is going to be not as profitable. So you wouldn't want to do that. There's no need. But they said you're either going to, put it in your biggest theater for 3 weeks, or you're not going to show Star Wars. Now, most of these theaters across the country couldn't afford to say no to that deal. Star Wars is too big. If they did that with any of the Marvel movies, it'd be the same thing. It'd be the exact same thing. I mean, like, I like Disney. I like Disney movies. I like Star Wars. I want to see it successful, but I also am aware that there's a dark side to all of this. No pun intended. Okay, pun a little bit intended. And like, I don't know. I think one of the hardest things for me is, as a feminist, I see very much a lot of people want to attack Kathleen Kennedy for the state of Star Wars because she's currently the president of Lucasfilm, and that makes me uncomfortable because I mean, she is on the one hand the president of Lucasfilm, so it's hard for me to want to like sympathize with someone in her position because of the position she's in, but at the same time it's complicated. I don't know Kathleen Kennedy personally. I don't know what kind of person she is, and I don't know what kind of struggles she had to get to the spot that she's in as a woman. And I think that that's relevant. I think that it's very relevant. Because we do things a certain way in the culture that we built. And it's still not as easy for women to end up in those positions of authority, especially over a franchise heavy business. What, you got Star Wars and Indiana Jones under your belt? And like, Lucasfilm's got a lot of stuff that they can access and make money off of. And I look forward to them doing that. I would like to see more from Lucasfilm than just Star Wars. But I think right now it's just not profitable for them to do anything else, and the unpopularity of some Star Wars titles has even hurt our ability to get other things from that studio. I don't know. Because as an investor's gotta think, like, if the new Star Wars wasn't good, you can't count on brand loyalty to the franchise to get people to come see a new Indiana Jones or a remake of American Graffiti or any of the other properties that Lucasfilm has. It's a sad state of affairs when our hands are tied by exclusively what investors think will be profitable. Because there's a certain amount of this content, like especially when it comes to things like Star Wars, where it's just meant to be goofy fun. You're not meant to take it too seriously. I mean, there's certainly some mixed messages with that, because on the one hand, like, Jar Jar Binks is this lovely clown character, but in the same movie that he's introduced, we start the story talking about the taxation of trade routes to outlying star systems. And that's some pretty grown-up stuff. It's not some stuff that you just It's I guess as they would say, it's not kiddie stuff. I don't know who they is in this scenario, but they would say it. Those sayers of things. Those sayers, it's so easy for me to point the finger at other people in order to not take responsibility. And I think that there's absolutely something to be said for the fairness with which people critique the content that they consume. There's no question that there's inherently problematic content in Star Wars. But even though there's inherently problematic content in Star Wars, it's still such a vastly popular property that you can find people of various creeds and religions, ethnic backgrounds. People like Star Wars. And it's not a secret. And it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. People like Star Wars, people like Star Trek. These fandoms that have been using the internet to tear each other apart, tear themselves apart more than anything else. I don't know. In 2022, I don't see Star Wars and Star Trek fans at odds with each other so much anymore. What I see is Star Wars and Star Wars fans at odds with each other, or Star Trek and Star Trek fans at odds with each other. And I don't know if that stuff happens in like the Doctor Who fandom, or the Supernatural fandom, or the Sherlock fandom. If that fandom is still alive, I don't know. I'm not on Tumblr. But we have a problem of sacredness in our fandoms. It's a real problem, especially when we start demanding where creators take their content. It's one thing for a director or someone who's in charge of a project, a creative project, to take control and say, this is where I want it to go as a creator. That's their job. As a fan, it's not your job. Which isn't to say that you shouldn't have opinions on where you want it to go. Of course you should. That's half the point of being a fan. That's half the fun of it, right? Guessing what's coming next, where you think it should go, having opinions on whether or not 7 of 9 and Chakotay should ever have been together. They should not. Should have been Janeway and 7 of 9. Obviously. But I guess Chuckles had to be there too. Anyway. The point is, I don't know, I was just rambling. Fandoms have a problem. They do. Fandom's got a real problem. Got a problem with ourselves, and we need to grow out of it if we are to survive. Because it's not so much even that we're scaring off new people, because I don't think that's true, but we're certainly carving out spaces for ourselves, little hills where we say these are the true fans. These are the ones that are good, that matter. That's a dangerous thing to do. And I'm not saying it's always a bad thing to do, because there are people out there with some, I'll say, ideas. I think that was the wrong color. Yeah, there we go. Now, I wish I hadn't spent so much time on rendering these, because I'm thinking a playground would have been a good idea to include in the background, and I did not even draw one. Which, like, okay. Okay. But these characters are still mad cute. Hmm. That's better.
love the mochas here.
Too bad my budget doesn't.
Sarah, don't give it up. State Farm has options to give you a surprisingly great rate.
Thanks, Jake. Next round's on me.
Go ahead and kill that State Farm commercial. Uh-oh. Computer heard me talking about Disney. Now they're advertising it to me. Oh, you know, it's not often I get advertised Epcot. Mostly because I don't get advertised to very much at all these days. Kind of very specifically go out of my way to avoid being advertised to. I'm gonna need to get a switch deck or whatever they're called. Something that'll mute that audio on command. If I'm gonna be doing that. Whew. One of the things I was telling my very good friend Raven this evening, they were asking, well, they were telling me about what art they're making, and they are learning how to do Victorian flower language. And so they were saying, because I had mentioned that like one of my struggles is I deal very much in terms of, I think of lines as like boundary boxes to be filled with color. And really what you want to do is just think of shapes. Like honestly, I think like if I just and then remove what I don't want, I might end up with a better product. I don't know. I don't know if that looks better. I don't think it does. But I've also cultivated style now, like doing what I've been doing. Just kind of trying to add some kind of volume to this hair so that it's not so flat. I don't think I'm gonna get it done before our cutoff, but I still got like 10 minutes left, so we'll see how far I can get, because I haven't gotten to her friend yet at all. Her friend's got a little bit of Alice in Wonderland vibe now. But the nice thing is, even if I don't finish this on the stream, while it's transferring to YouTube, I usually have plenty of time to make a thumbnail, so I can just, do that. Give a little bit more rendering to it. Something I think I want you to think about is, what is one thing that if you could wave a magic wand and just be better at, what would it be? Like, in terms of art. There's always things that we can think of improving. Try to narrow it down to one. And then whatever your answer is, look up guides on how to do that thing. Look at how other artists are doing it. If it's anatomy related, look at the different anatomy guides. Look at medical texts. That stuff is relevant. Because honestly, humans, we're a little bit full of ourselves, right? We are, and that's okay. We like to draw people. We like to draw people, we like to draw animals. That's oftentimes the first things that we're ever drawing in our life are people and animals. So there's nothing to be ashamed of if those are the things you draw or want to draw better. So look up those tutorials, do those tutorials, practice it and practice it. Force yourself to do it if you have to. Put on those blinders and just get to it. And when you become an expert at that thing, find the next thing. What's your next thing you want to be good at? And you just keep trying. Keep trying to repeat that process. It's not easy, and it's disheartening a lot of days. Artists of great skill get discouraged all the time. And you're one of them, and that's okay. Because you may have great skill, and it just might not be developed yet. There, she's got a little bit more texture to her hair. That looks nice. Whew. Let's give her some highlights too. Let's make them a bit more noticeable. See, I'm doing stuff like this because I want to get better at doing hair. I want to get better at doing these characters, because this is oftentimes what is my most requested style, are these chibis. They've literally so far been my most profitable artwork. And I experiment with other stuff. But this is good. I want to make these look as good as they can. And that hair has a nice texture to it, I think. Let's get a little bit of shading here around this side. Maybe the light's coming from up here, so. Do not worry about perfection in your art. Perfection will come the more you practice with meaning. The more you practice with meaning, the more you will get what you're looking for in terms of perfection. That is it for our stream tonight. We're going to go back to this quote real quick, talk about it here. You simply have to put one foot in front of the other and keep going. Put blinders on and plow right ahead. This can apply to so many different levels of your artwork, whether you're talking about long run or whether you're talking about sometimes you'll end up with some weird looking stuff that you've put on the page and you just have to trust in the process, especially when you've got those flat colors on there and you're working on pulling on a gradient and you put on that first level of gradient and it just looks wrong. Just keep trusting in your ability to pull it off and make those modifications. Put those blinders on, plow right ahead. Just like George said. Thank you so much for joining me tonight on this stream of Beef and Clown. You can find me on Twitter at RadMissFliss. If you missed the stream, catch us on YouTube. Look up Beef and Clown. We're there. Give us a like, a subscribe, and we'll see you next week at the same time, at the same place. Good night.